Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Martial Monday. I just realized we could do M's.
We could.
There it is.
Would that
Okay,
break you? Okay. Yeah.
like we do Warlock Wednesdays. Now we
Yeah.
got Martial Mondays. I gotta
Oh
kick it.
yes.
Um, kind of late in the game for that, but whatever. Uh, all right, we're gonna cover another monk subclass today. The Way of the Drunken Master.
Yeah. This is
Huge
a trot.
disappointment.
Yeah, that, and it's a trope that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't love. There's a level of meme character that I can tend to put up with. A lot of the times they're gonna be like the wild magic sorcerers or the barbarians. Period. Like a lot of those characters are gonna kind of be one note and have their base goal just be to cause a little bit of mayhem and mischief and stuff. Way of the Drunken Master is that kind of thing, but on a worse class. So I guess about as good a class as Barbarian. But it doesn't really give you a lot of perks to doing anything, and it leads to a lot of time that starts being fun where you're getting drunk in taverns with your party, but that kind of becomes your whole thing. I don't know. I've got a lot of grudges against Drunken Master, and I think the archetype itself, in a vacuum, if you look at it mechanically, is shit. But we'll touch on that in a
Well, do you
second.
know what this is based on?
There's it's like most things monk in D&D. The answer is messy and complicated, and probably a lot or a little insensitive. So I'm not entirely going to dive into that. There's
I just
probably deep dives you
Googled
could do on
Drunken
these.
Master without 5E next to it, and the first thing that comes up is a movie from 1978. Looks
Oh
like a
yeah, insensitive is definitely where we can start with that, probably.
yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot to
Jackie
it.
Chan.
Okay, we love Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Also, again, right down the lane for just a stereotypical monk you can get. Yeah. Anyway, so this starts with two things. You get bonus proficiencies in Drunken Technique. So bonus proficiencies give you proficiency in Performance if you don't already have it, which doesn't give you anything else if you do have it, so don't have it when you pick this up. Your martial arts technique mixes combat training with precision of a dancer and the antics of a jester. You also gain proficiency with brewer's supplies if you don't already have it. So if you do already have it and you have performance, tough titties. You're just out of luck. You get nothing here because they couldn't
You
have
know,
given you backups.
I don't appreciate this stereotype. Yeah, as a person who drinks a lot, I don't know shit about brewing.
I think that's actually a really good point. I think a lot of the drunken masters, I guess there's probably some monastery,
Oh, yeah.
they made beers before in Germany and other different places around Europe back in a whole this I guarantee just a rich history of alcohol and religion, and that probably ties into some of this, which is where the brewing supplies is coming from with the monk stuff. That'd be my guess.
They're mixing their monk stereotypes.
Well, yeah, and performance is more of the oddball to me there, then, right? Because, I guess there is a lot of performative action that happens in practice and monk training and yoga-esque rituals and stuff that might go into it, but it's still kind of both in the same time. Is this happen? What this is a guy that punches people while intoxicated, right? That's the vast majority of what this archetype is. I don't know.
This could be
Agnostic.
Tavern Brawler.
Yeah, agnostic of theming, I think they're not particularly powerful proficiencies. You can have fun with brewer supplies with the stuff that came out in Xanathars a little bit, but they're still going to be niche twice per campaign. You'll bring up that you can make some neat ability checks to discern where these grapes were grown. It doesn't really matter. The main feature you get here is Drunken Technique, and it's really short. So it's at the third level, you learn how to twist and turn quickly as part of your flurry of blows, which is technically unnecessary text. Whenever you use your flurry of blows, you gain the benefit of the disengage action, and your walking speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the current turn.
You can move faster because you just beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
can get a kind of a free disengage.
Yeah.
I'm really low on this feature. I don't think this is a subclass feature, really. There are subclass features that give you cool new abilities that we just touched on Ascendant Dragon, and it lets you make cones of fire and lines of fire. It gives you new ways to play the game. This doesn't. This just kind of gives you.
What are you supposed to do with this?
It's so how I think in practice it plays is you are fighting a bunch of people. You get hit a couple of times. You get closer towards the end of a fight, and you're like, all right, I don't want to go down here. The paladin still has like 12 HP left or whatever. I'm going to flurry of blows and leave for free. That way you're still contributing to ending the fight, but not risking your own life, which ends up playing like fairly selfishly. It's going to build a little bit of hostility, especially whenever you're like prioritizing your own safety over others. That's kind of when it comes up. Beyond that, like you could maybe use it to dive through backlines. Like if you have to get past a large amount of enemies to hit a caster in the back, you just run in with your monk speeds. Flurry of Blows gets 2 hits in on the first thing that you come in contact or 2 things that you're in contact with. And then you get a bonus 10 speed for that turn, and then you can move right through them for free and keep going to try and get onto the more important targets. And you're not hitting those targets this turn, and that's not happening in almost any encounters. Like it's like a handful of encounters per game will be back to front like that, where you got casters supported by a bunch of thick things in front that you'll care about moving through in that fashion and be able to do so on your turn, and the things won't come back and hit you anyway. And I'm still like, this is very specific numbers need to come up with ranges for this to even have any practicality whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. It doesn't help that like monks already have fine ways getting around. So Step of the Wind lets you jump over things, and disengage as a bonus action. And like you don't love that's completing with Flurry of Blows, but if you really need to disengage as a bonus action, it was right there. So like this is kind of ghoulish overkill. Which makes me go like, I don't like this. This makes it so you're not going to use Step of the Wind disengage anymore, I guess, and it kind of like mixes that into Flurry of Blows. But this isn't like a new interesting feature. If I want to play a character that's silly, that's doing the drunken technique thing, I want to hit people with casts of ale. I want to like swing around and like matrix dodge things just through out of sheer dumb luck because I slipped on a banana peel and caught myself as the bullet went over my head, right? Like I would like something that sells the fantasy of using the intoxicated stupor and unpredictability to like actual meaningful effect. This just doesn't read like that or play like that to me.
We'll get something like that a little bit later.
Yeah, literally the next feature.
Oh, is the next one?
I think it's well, it's called Tipsy Sway.
Right.
This is the 6th level feature, so it gives you 2 abilities. Starting at 6th level, you can move in sudden swaying ways when you gain the following benefits. This one, I don't know why they keep printing these words kind of on features. It says, leap to your feet. When you're prone, you can stand up by spending 5 feet of movement rather than half your speed. Okay. And then we have redirect attack, which is when a creature misses you with a melee attack roll, you can spend 1 key point as a reaction to cause that attack to hit one creature of your choice, other than the attacker that you can see within 5 feet of you. Now, this is the entire reason to play Drunken Master, and I would say probably the only reason to play Drunken Master, because like it's actually good and cool and fits the theme that it's going for. The problem is you have to sit through bonus proficiency's drunken technique first to get here, and you're a monk, so you're already seriously lacking in out of combat things to do and like other ways to engage with the game. So like this is powerful, it's cool. In some encounters, there'll be some encounters where you're like, well, you're hitting me or my buddy. I guess I'll let you hit my buddy instead. But like
I mean, if it comes down to that, we're building a very selfish character here. So and he's a drunk.
Yeah, not a friendly drunk, evidently. Doesn't like people. This costing key I think is necessary but unfortunate, just because you're already going to be wanting to Flurry of Blows a lot, and we already saw an option that tells you to use Flurry of Blows a lot, so it's going to be...
Yeah, but it doesn't give you anything for doing so.
Yeah, sure doesn't. The redirect attack is, I think, what I would probably want to try build this character towards and to be able to do, with the idea being you go in fighting multiple enemies at once so they hit each other, which again, delicious, exactly what I would expect Drunken Master to do. But this being the only sort of feature we've seen that does anything meaningful is not a good place to start. And again, that's not going to be every encounter. There's not going to be a lot of encounters, honestly. There's going to be a lot of encounters where you're mano-a-mano with something, or where there's 2 parties smashing into each other, and you're not going to have a lot of room or opportunity for you to both be taking attacks and then redirecting those attacks to other enemies specifically. I think it's going to be a bit tricky to make it work like exceptionally well, but it is the best thing we've seen so far.
I think it's the best thing we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Drunkard's Luck is the 11th level feature, so you are always seem to get a lucky bounce at the right moment. When you make an ability check, attack roll, or a saving throw and have disadvantage, you can spend 2 whole key points to cancel the disadvantage for that roll.
That's not a feature.
No.
I mean, it's too expensive, and who cares?
Yeah.
There are ways to mitigate disadvantage, and or just suck up the disadvantage and get him next time.
Yeah,
Champ.
this we talked about a lot of features that when things that only trigger when they're dead, right? So like things like Relentless, the board trait, where it's if you would drop below 0, you drop to 1 instead. And we're not typically very high on those, right? Like we talk about like I want a feature I'm actually able to use. Drunkard's Luck exclusively exists in a world where you're already doing poorly, and now you don't do well in that circumstance. You function about as expected in that circumstance.
Yeah.
And it's also only for an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw. It's not all of your attack rolls on the turn. It's not all of your things on the turn. So if you're frightened and you want to make your 5 attacks as a monk, well, one of them cannot be a disadvantage anymore. Really?
Yeah, that's like an anti-feature.
Yeah, it's monks really, and the viewers out there, you might be like, removing disadvantage can be really important in some moments. 2 key points is an enormous cost for when that's all you have, and you want to be stunning striking, and you want to be using tipsy sway, and you want to be making flurry of blows. Like that's what monk's bread and butter is. That's 2 of any of those. Or 1 removal of the disadvantage. No.
Right, that is a huge cost, and just having a crap nothing feature for a subclass is also a cost.
Sure is. Final feature we get is Intoxicated Frenzy. So this is the 17th level feature, which you're probably never getting to because you stopped playing this character or they died because everyone hated you because you kept getting your friends punched in the face. This is, you gain the ability to make an overwhelming number of attacks against groups of enemies. When you use your Flurry of Blows, you can make up to 3 additional attacks with it, up to a total of 5 Flurry of Blows attacks, provided that each attack of the Flurry of Blows targets a different creature this turn. I like this feature. I don't think it's a 17th level feature. It's just not. This whirlwind attack is a feature that we see rangers get in the hunter class. That's a 3rd level feature, and that lets you attack everything around you. It might be a 6th level feature. It's way cheaper than this, and this requires you spend key points to get them. And now, granted, at this point in the game, you're using key points every single round to Flurry of Blows every single round, and this just kind of lets you, like, you always get your base 2, and then you just say, okay, I also hit everyone else around me once, which I guess is fine. But this also means if you wanted to hit the same creature twice, you can't, because this does specify each Flurry of Blows attack has to target a different creature. So you can't use your normal 2-on-1 and then spread out the extras on others. All 5 have to hit different things, which is going to often be worse than just a regular Flurry of Blows.
Well, it's often going to be impossible because you're not going to have that many targets.
Also that. If you have 3 targets, you're getting 1 bonus attack and the cost of having to split them up, which is a real cost.
Yeah, that means you just have up to 5 Flurry of Blows. That means you're just mildly pissing off 5 people.
Yeah, you're hitting them for a D10 plus a Dex mod each. And that's it.
Yeah, you're not killing anybody. You are making them angry at you, but because you used Flurry of Blows, could you like run away faster now?
Yeah, you've disengaged and have 10-foot extra speed, so you can run in there, be like, ah! And then run away. I guess, because you need to. I mean, you're a 70th level monk at that point that's gotten no help from their subclass whatsoever. So, like, that's not true. You've gotten redirect attack, but no other help from their subclass whatsoever. So you're not going to be particularly functional anyway.
I mean, if you can find yourself constantly in groups of smaller enemies, yeah, I guess you could mix this with the drunken tech. Or no, which one? The tipsy sway. Yeah, redirect attack
within tipsy sway. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. I don't see it happening.
I mean, that's like the clear play pattern they wanted to sort of do, right? Is you run in where you're not supposed to be, put yourself in a little bit of danger, and people start throwing fists at you, right? Like, I can envision the play pattern of this intention being you, as the monk, run with... And this ignores all the context of your party. This is basically saying, I don't have other people that I'm cooperatively playing with. I run into the group of 5 goblins. I start throwing fists around. I have the ability to get out if things get bad. And I help them hit each other while I'm in there, right? This really is a single individual that is getting dogpiled on, that's winning because he's so unpredictable and stupering around and falling over himself that they're hitting each other, and he's using that to his advantage, right? And he's just kind of like getting a bunch of blows in and brawling it out, right? In practice, D&D isn't going to be one clump of goblins that you've pissed off. It's going to be fairly widespread battle map, especially as we get to this tier of play. Huge and giant monsters that you're just not going to be in range of the other things next to it sometimes. You're going to be against
Well,
different kinds and setups of a monster. You're going to see big varied battle maps. Like it.
I think when you said you're getting dogpiled by goblins, that's where this shines.
It's supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, but that is not happening. Well, like you said, that's not happening at 17th level.
Sure isn't.
That's yeah, this whole subclass is for like bar brawls.
Yeah.
And that's just not where we are anymore.
I unironically think Intoxicated Fury could
If
be
you're
a third level
17th
feature.
level, any other class, you're 17th level, you win the bar brawl just by walking in.
You win, you destroy the bar, right? There's
Yeah.
a crater there.
Oh,
But like, if Intoxicated Frenzy is where we started, I still don't know how high on this option I am. If we got that instead of Drunken Technique or alongside Drunken Technique, I'm like, okay, so sometimes, not always, sometimes when I Flurry of Blows, I can hit more things. That's kind of cool-ish, I
would
guess.
be into that. I'd be fine. That would not be exceptionally powerful.
It would still be pretty bad.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good starting point, and this is their capstone.
Yes. Oh, that's not great.
This subclass has a single redeeming feature. And that is not good enough to give this outside of F territory, right? This is just
and
unusable
that's not
trash,
always
right?
usable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to like this, but I just can't.
No commenters at home. If you love your Drunken Master Monk, I'm really happy for you. I always like to try and say, I largely love the opinion that's probably because you're having a great time playing Dungeons & Dragons with your friends, and Monk class has some cool things like Flurry of Blows and Stunning Strike to feel like you're doing some powerful things. I would say if you're using a lot of redirect attack, that's probably where the fun's coming from, but I would say that you're sorely missing out on a gigantic amount of features that you could have had doing Insect and Dragon things, that you could have had doing Way of Shadow things, you could have had doing other impactful, powerful things. So, you know.
Or you just be a fighter that drinks a lot.
But it takes to be Tavern Brawler, I guess.
You don't have
chairs.
to. You do not have to do that.
No, you don't.
You can just be an effective fighter and, call yourself a Drunken Master, whatever. It's not like, unless you've got a weird DM that I drink some ale. All right, you've got disadvantage on all your attacks now. That usually doesn't happen, right?
No.
No.
Usually your DM is trying to work with you to make your cool character fantasy come to fruition.
Yeah.
This subclass works against you. Don't take it. Monks have a hard enough time as is. Don't take it.
Yeah. If you got a grade?
Yeah, big old fat F. This is unuseful.
Oh man, yeah, this is like the student I like and I want to pass, but just can't.
I would have guessed of all the monk subclasses that you would have played, this would have been top of that list.
I would have,
flavorfully,
unless I read it first.
Yes.
I might have played it without reading it first.
I think a lot of people probably do too,
Yeah.
or like think the Drunken Technique might do something and they play with it. And it's hard to track when something doesn't happen, but then you watch a character not use a third level feature for like 6 consecutive sessions. You go, what did you get from your subclass again? It's rough. I had that experience with the Phantom Rogue subclass.
It's happening. Like, all right, I know my third level feature has something to do with Flurry of Blows, so I'm gonna Flurry of Blows this guy and look it up. All right, now what can I do? I can run away if I want, but I want to keep fighting him.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, yeah. Fat F's across the board. That was Way of the Drunken Master. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully you got some opinions on this one. I'd love to hear them down in the comments. And this is the first time here, like, subscribe, and you'll get to enjoy this fun banter some more. All right. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.